the Echo Arena for the second men's singles semi-final. It is a all-China affair. In red, Zhu Jin, 22 years of age, number 3 in the world. And in black, his opponent, also from China, 23 years of age, number 2 in the world, playing in the black shirt, Ma Long. Ma Long taking a bow to the crowd as the MC, Johnny Cowan, introduces the players. Following these introductions, players and officials will shake hands. Players will go back to their respective corners. Last-minute preparations, and then we'll have a 2-minute practice on the table. And then the semi-final will commence. There we are. Formalities complete. Players, officials shaking hands. And the Chinese philosophy when they play against each other is not to involve the coaches. And so we have 2 coachless corners. And there we have that strapping on the left ankle of Ma Long. We were a little bit worried about how that would affect him, but it certainly didn't affect him in the quarter-final against Michael Mays, the superb player from Denmark. And interesting to see Ma Long there with his own little video recorder. He's now putting that in place. Tactics in table tennis, absolutely vital, particularly when 2 players are of a very equal standard. And of course, there's nothing between these 2, ranked 2 and 3 in the world. And I think what's interesting here is that when we get to Rio in 4 years' time, that these 2 players, along with Zhang Jike, the current Olympic champion, will be the backbone of the Chinese team. And so Zhu Jin made the last 16 at the World Championships in Rotterdam in 2011, making his first appearance in the World Cup. He's won 2 Pro Tour titles in 2012 in Qatar and recently in China. And as you can see there, a left-handed pen grip player, but he's one of several players now who's developed the reverse backhand topspin, a pen grip player who uses both sides of the racket. But there's Ma Long, a very, very powerful forehand and backhand topspin player. Was a member of the Chinese team that won the gold medal in London at the Olympics. He's been in the semi-final at the last 2 World Championships in Yokohama and in Dortmund. He's played in 2 World Cups so far, finished 3rd in 2008 and 3rd in 2009. But there we see the pen hold style of Zhu Jin. And indeed, as if on cue, he's using the reverse backhand. The traditional pen hold grip players just use one side of the racket, but as you can see there, Zhu Jin using the backhand side of the racket. Pen hold grip was thought to be superior when play was over the table, but once the rally developed, the pen hold is slightly weaker on the backhand side. Then along comes Zhu Jin and Wang Hao, Ma Lin, a whole host of Chinese players who then developed the reverse backhand topspin, which negated the inherent weakness of the pen hold style. So the players now coming towards the end of this 2-minute pre-match preparation. Just playing a few backhands to backhands down the line. But of course this semi-final, being all China, came about because Ma Long finished in 2nd place in his group. Choi Chi Yuan from Chinese Taipei had probably what is the shock result so far when he beat Marlong 4-0. But Marlong has responded well. But by losing that, it placed him in the same half as the draw as his Chinese teammate Zhu Jin. So the players taking their time, and that shows you one thing: this means a lot to them. There's no question of any match fixing here. Players from China in the past have been known to employ tactics at this stage, but that's certainly not the case over the last 10 years. These two players will be going flat out to win this semi-final. Who will win? I think it's a difficult one to predict here. It's a great reversed backhand block down the line from Zhu Jin. Marlong stepping down the backhand, looking to make the forehand topspin down the line. It's always more difficult to go down the line. The target's that little bit shorter. And indeed, Marlong just over-hitting the topspin. Zhu Jin leads 2-1. Strong, powerful play from Marlong. Held his ground, stayed close to the table, forced Zhu Jin away from the table. And that's a technique that's developed in recent years. Marlong there coming across to return with the backhand from the forehand side of the table. There we see him on the replay, stepping across. When Ian Marshall, who sat next to me in the commentary box, was coaching the England juniors, that was almost a no-no to return with the backhand from the forehand side in.
You'd have sent them home. Just not done whatsoever. But Petr Korbel from the Czech Republic, he's very efficient with the stroke, but I think really the development comes from the penhole grip player. The penhole grip perceived as being the better grip near the net with the short strokes, the wrist a little bit more flexible, and now it's developed from the penhole grip player into the shake hands grip player.
That's a great flick over the table from Zhu Jin. Elbow wrist going through the back of the ball, straight down the line into the backhand of Marlong. What a shot from Marlong. I must confess, I'm looking forward to the topspin to topspin rallies, because arguably these are the best two in the world in that situation. Both incredibly powerful, even though they're right away from the table. Who's going to win this one? And then you see a forehand topspin like that from Marlong. That was a superb replay. Highlighted the wonderful shot that Marlong played to win the point.
Just outstanding accuracy as well. And when we talk about forehands, then I suspect we've got the two most powerful forehands in the world on duty.
7-3.
And so it's Marlong who's started the stronger in the first game. He's held his ground, he stayed closer to the table. Zhu Jin has been forced away from the table, but having said that, Zhu Jin is incredibly powerful even when he's away from the table. But Marlong's managed to absorb that, and he leads 7-3.
7-4.
Perfect example there of the reverse backhand topspin from Zhu Jin. Ma Long coming way across to the backhand side to play the forehand topspin. The speed of footwork these players need to play shots like the one we're just about to see on the replay. Just look how far around the backhand side of the table that he gets. There he goes. He's off screen. He's almost touching the umpire as he plays that forehand topspin.
4-8. Left. 4-8.
Ma Long there coming across to return with his backhand from the forehand side, but it was a net service. No penalty for the net service when it just catches the top of the net. Player simply retakes the serve.
4-9.
Of course, returning serve with that technique, Don, is even more difficult from the left-hander because the natural service axis for the ball to be fading away wide to Ma Long's forehand, so he has to move quite a long way to do that.
Again, it's Ma Long close to the table, in with the powerful forehand topspin, and we have 6 game points for the number 2 ranked player in the world. And despite 2 great reverse backhand topspins, the counter topspins from Ma Long win the point. And Ma Long wins the first game, 11 points to 4. That was fairly comprehensive, Ian.
It was very, very impressive indeed, because 2 days ago, Ma Long was absolutely all at sea. His concentration wasn't there. He looked to me very, very tired indeed, very lethargic in his play. And I think when you're tired, keeping concentration is very difficult, but clearly he's had a couple of good nights' sleep, and he's back here absolutely all guns blazing. There we see the modern-day return of service, which, of course, would not have been appreciated by the coaches 5 or 6 years ago, but is now a major part of an attacking table tennis player's armoury. The absolute accuracy. And I think that's maybe one thing that was also developed in table tennis in the last decade, shall we say. I think the players are, in fact, more accurate. I think the power, perhaps, that is not a great deal of difference. But there we just see the left ankle of Ma Long. It is strapped. I spoke last night with Chin Jan, the coach. He advises that there's no great problem with that angle. It's more precautionary. It's just to give him some support and just to prevent any possible injury.
Second game.
And the players now ready to start the second game. Ma Long with the serve. Great counter topspin. Zhu Jin, trademark forehand topspin there, wide on the backhand, steps round, but leaves himself exposed on the forehand. And Ma Long exploits that very area. And it's looking to me, and I don't know if you agree, but it's the power of Ma Long at the moment that's dominated certainly the first game and the beginning of this second game.
Well, once Ma Long is into a rhythm with that forehand, well, there are a few better sights in sport.
Zhu Jin now with his 2 serves.
Left 3.
And you can see the determination of Ma Long, clenched fist, roar of delight as he takes the point. And he'll be delighted, as we can see at the bottom of the screen. 1 game to 0 up, 3-0 up in points in this second game.
4 left.
And again, Ma Long demonstrating the short, highly skillful touch returner service, and then he would have launched himself into that backhand topspin. So at this level, delicate touch skills are required, and then the ability to explode with ferocious backhand and forehand topspins. And that's just what we saw there again from Ma Long. Hallmarks of a great player, Ian.
Well, that's right, and he's attacking much quicker than Zhu Jin. He's seizing the opportunity very, very quickly. And, well, one game to nil ahead, a 5-love ahead, and it's the number 2 player in the world against the number 3. And again, over the table, very, very quick to attack, much quicker to attack than Zhu Jin at the moment.
And that's a fantastic return of serve. He comes in with the racket open. It looks as though he's going to push. And then at the final split second, he changes the angle of the racket and goes for the flick.
Left. Left. 6.
Well spotted by the umpire. The ball just catching the top of the net.
One. 6.
Zhu Jin opens his account. Good topspin from Zhu Jin. As we see here, he brushes up the ball. It's not going too fast, but it's got a lot of spin on it. 2 consecutive points for the Chinese player playing in the red shirt, Zhu Jin.
Seven. 2.
2 extremes there, short to the forehand with the return and then out wide into the backhand of Zhu Jin. There's the service, short, and then the forehand wide and deep. And Ma Long employing perfect tactics so far.
First and forced error from Ma Long, I think, in this table tennis match.
And after that unforced error, Ma Long still in the lead by 4 points. Zhu Jin serving at 3-7. Long push from Zhu Jin. The fast attacking push deep into the backhand of Ma Long wins the point. And having led 6-love, Zhu Jin has won 4 of the last 5 points.
Left. 4-7.
That is a fantastic return of service. The footwork was quite superb to get across to return that with the backhand. You can see him going right across, and he goes straight down the line, and that was a perfect example of the wrist action. The German players have christened that shot the banana shot because of the side spin that goes onto the ball as well. But whatever you want to call it, that was a great return of service with the backhand from the forehand side of the table. Ma Long now leading 8-4.
Well, again, we highlighted the accuracy of that stroke. Absolutely outstanding.
And so far, when it's come to the forehand versus forehand topspins, it's the power of Ma Long that is the dominating force. And there he is. There's that forehand whole body action.
And of course, that highlights why you need to have strong legs. Incredible use of the lower part of the body as well.
And so, having won the first game, 11-4, Ma Long leads 10-4 in the second game. This is truly a world-class performance by Ma Long. Can he keep it going? First time of asking, Ma Long wins the second game, 11 points to 4. And I don't think even he could have wished for a better start. He wins the first game 11-4 and the second game 11-4. Can he keep it going, Ian?
Well, I think the answer is possibly yes, because Ma Long, he's like the injured tiger. He lost to Chuang Chuan in the group stage, and he lost 4-0 to Chuang Chuan. It was not the greatest performance of his life, to say the least. Chuang Chuan played extremely well. Let's take nothing away from the player from Taipei, but Ma Long was a shadow of himself, and I expect there have been words from coach Qin Jijian, and maybe even a telephone call from head coach in Beijing, Lu Goliang, and well, the tiger is injured, and then he is at his most dangerous. If anybody can keep it going, it is Ma Long, but really I cannot see this going 4-0 to Ma Long. The last twice they've played this year, both contests have actually gone the full 7 games distance, and at the moment I think it's 1-1. I think that when they played in the semi-final in Hungary, it was Ma Long who won 4-3, and then on home side in Shanghai at the China Open, then Zhu Jin turned the tables 4-3. So this is quite unexpected for Ma Long to have been so dominant in these first 2 games.
And the players now back at the table, ready to start the third game. And we have to remember, in the first men's singles semi-final, Vladimir Samsonov won the first 2 games, but then Timo Boll responded by winning 4 consecutive games. Can Zhu Jin do the same? Well, that was a good start by Ma Long. The serve was a little bit long, and Ma Long in with the forehand topspin straight away, took the initiative. And it looks like he's going to carry on where he left off after the second game.
His anticipation there was outstanding, and perhaps the difference is you highlighted the serve just drifting long, Don, and perhaps there is, well, unusually, Zhu Jin has not been at his best. Now, for me, Zhu Jin is very much the master of service and first attack.
Excellent reverse backhand topspin from the panel grip player Zhu Jin. There we see it on the replay. Whips up the back of the ball. Oh, wonderful placement. Zhu Jin was hanging around the backhand side of the table, looking to play his forehand from the backhand side. Let's look at that again on the replay. There he is. You can see him hanging around the backhand corner. Ma Long straight down the line.
Left. 1-3.
Now there we see the long forehand of Zhu Jin coming into play, and one of the longest forehand strokes in world table tennis. You can see the racket round the back of his body at the start of the stroke. And Zhu Jin is very much unique in the world of table tennis. Okay, we have penhole players, etc., but nobody quite like Zhu Jin. There we see it again, that massively long stroke, outstanding power from the shoulder, and once he gets to first top spinning, then I'm afraid it's good night.
And the players both taking the opportunity after 6 points to use the towel. Fully entitled to do so, and they're now back at the table.
3-3.
And it will be Ma Long with the serve. Indeed, with his 2 serves. First one coming up. Zhu Jin looking at his racket. You could see the shrug as he missed that. That was his point for the taking. The serve was way over the sideline. Good opportunity to get in with the return. And that's one thing Zhu Jin can't afford, unforced errors.
Three, 5.
Well, he's certainly got mind over matter in this table tennis match as Ma Long. He's come out in a very positive attitude. You just see the response. It's as though to play with the point to prove. And of course, neither of them have ever won this title. For Zhu Jin, of course, that's by definition, it's his first appearance.
That is incredible play from Ma Long. Pins the ball into Zhu Jin's backhand, then gets out wide to the forehand to keep Zhu Jin guessing, to stop Zhu Jin running round. And just look at those top spins. That ball going like an absolute bullet. 6-3, Ma Long in the lead. I think Zhu Jin, Ian, if he goes 3-0 down, it's going to be a mountain to climb.
Absolutely, it's the anticipation of Ma Long which is so impressive.
3-6.
It's a good topspin from Zhu Jin into Ma Long's backhand. And it's Ma Long now with his 2 serves. Leads 6-4 and by 2 games to 0. Ma Long did well there. He managed to get across to the wide ball to his forehand to play the topspin. And again, Zhu Jin nodding to himself. He knows that point was there for the taking. Again, Ma Long in behind the service. Very, very strong forehand topspin. 8-4. Just have a quick look again at that forehand topspin. The return just a little bit high, but nevertheless, look at that forehand topspin from Ma Long. Almost bangs the table with his body. Such is his commitment to getting total body rotation into the shot. 8-4. The reverse backhand topspin down the line catches the top of the net. And I'm afraid this is looking almost inevitable now. Ma Long winning the first game 11-4, the second game 11-4. Wouldn't be a big shock if this third game was 11-4. Ma Long just took the pace, a fraction, would you believe, off that last smash. And it just dropped in front of Zhu Jin, but what a wonderful point. There's the ball just dropping in front. And again, Zhu Jin looking down the barrel of an 11-4 defeat. And indeed it is. Who would have believed it? Ma Long wins the third game, as indeed he has the first 2 by 11 points to 4. And there he is, the gentleman in black is looking good.
Well, he's given Zhu Jin no time whatsoever to settle. It's not necessarily the speed of Ma Long's play, it's the speed at which he's attacked on the first ball. Quite an outstanding display by the young man who hails from Liaoning province in the north of China, the area of so many great players, Ma Lin being one of them, and of course the ladies, the whole of Go Yue, Li Xiaoxiao, all come from Liaoning province in the north of China. Incredibly strong area for table tennis. And Ma Long is into a rhythm, he's confident, full of self-belief, and Well, for Zhu Jin, he hasn't found a rhythm at all, and he's not been allowed to find a rhythm. Ma Long, active, quick, looking for every opportunity to seize the advantage. There we see it's exhibition time. Oh, just not quite Zhu Jin.
And now we are back, ready for the fourth game to start. And there he is, the gentleman with the mountain to climb in the red shirt, Zhu Jin. He's 3-0 down. He has to win the remaining 4. But Ma Long there, making his intentions clear and his commitment. He's not going to sit back and relax and think I'm 3-0 up. He's totally focused on the next point every time he plays.
Just a trifle ambitious, Ma Long, but an absolute superb demonstration of world-class sport, world-class table tennis. Well, if that would have gone on, I think you might as well have just have waved the white flag.
I think pack your bags and go home, even if you were Zhu Jin and that went on.
Absolutely. He's put it under pressure time and time again by being just that fraction too fast for Zhu Jin.
Ma Long 2-1 in the lead. Zhu Jin with his second serve in this sequence of 2 coming up. That was Zhu Jin at his best, playing the forehand from the backhand side. Here we see him go around, and he drills this one straight down the line. And it's 2 points each. Ma Long going for the long fast serve. It caught the top of the net cord just flicking the ball off the end of the table. And Zhu Jin in unfamiliar territory here. He's got a lead. And indeed he's responded with a very confident reverse backhand topspin, wide on the diagonal. And of course, Ian, we have seen players come back from 3-0 down.
Well, that's right, and of course, table tennis these days, we play to 11 points as opposed to in the 20th century to 21 points, and things can change very, very quickly, and for me, it's a massive step in the right direction. Makes the game much more exciting, more interesting. And there we see, once Zhu Jin has just given that little bit of time, then he is absolutely dynamic. Of course, he's a development of the penhole grip style of play. If we go back to the late 1980s, well, the Chinese, the penhole grip, it was just one side of the racket only, the short pimples. And of course, great believers in tradition, the Chinese. They then, of course, didn't want to dispense with the penhole grip as the Europeans like Vollner, Persson, Roscoff all started to succeed, and they stuck with the penhole grip for many of their players, and well, they've let 1,000 flowers blossom and developed a whole range of styles.
Ma Long going for the backhand on the diagonal. It would have been a winner. And Zhu Jin had committed himself to going round the backhand side. There's Zhu Jin, he's on his way around. Ma Long anticipated that well, but just overhit the backhand on the diagonal. And Zhu Jin leads by 6 points to 3. This time, arguably perfect length by Marlong. It caught the edge of the table, and there's no way that one was coming back. Let's just have a look at that again. Here's the block, and just watch it as it catches the edge of the table, and that is unreturnable by Zhu Jin. And the lead now 2 points in favour of the penal grip player, Zhu Jin.
A little fortunate from Marlong, but incredibly efficient backhand stroke. Short, quick, good use of wrist and elbow.
A little bit of good fortune again for Marlong. His short return, as we'll see on the replay. Here he comes in, catches the top of the net. Zhu Jin unable to react quick enough. And the lead now down to 1 point.
6-5. Left.
Net service.
6-5.
Quite simply, the service is retaken when the umpire calls a let serve. Great forehand topspin from Zhu Jin. The return was good from Marlong. Didn't quite get enough pace on it. There we see him playing that reverse backhand topspin. Sorry, the backhand from the forehand side of the table returner serve. And Zhu Jin now leads by 7 points to 5. Well-placed forehand topspin by Marlong into the body of Zhu Jin. The push from Zhu Jin slightly high. Nevertheless, the forehand topspin there from Marlong, perfectly placed.
Gets in so quickly, does Marlong. Any chance, any minimal chance, he's in there like a panther. Now 7-all the Don. Next point to Marlong. Zhu Jin timeout. See what happens.
Certainly Zhu Jin had a 2-3 point lead, and the last 2 or 3 points have gone to Marlong, so the momentum, you could argue, is with Marlong. So I think you're right, Ian. But he doesn't, and it's the powerful topspins from Zhu Jin that win the point. And that's a well-placed forehand topspin down the line from Zhu Jin. 8-7.
We're wasting time.
And the umpire has given the yellow card to Marlong for wasting time.
8-7.
A little bit of pressure on the umpires to keep play continuous. We don't want long breaks in play, and I think the umpire there reacted well. Marlong just trying to compose himself. Took a fraction too long.
8-8.
You can see him there. He's walking away from the table, taking his time. There is obviously a fine line between what is appropriate for a player to compose themselves, and if they overstep that line and just take a little bit too long, then that detracts from the crowd's experience. And arguably Marlong just pushing over the line a little bit there, but it's now 8 points each, and Marlong has his 2 serves to come. The forehand topspin there from Marlong, just caught the top of the net, slightly fortunate.
Surely Zhu Jin will go for timeout.
Timeout.
And indeed he has. Both these players have 1 timeout during the match. And Zhu Jin now senses that Marlong just in the ascendancy, the momentum with his opponent, and so why not take the break? And of course these players now going back to a coachless corner. It is the Chinese Chinese policy not to use the coaches when it's China versus China. Players having to think for themselves, but of course these two practice together at the national centre. They know each other's games inside out. They're both tactically very astute. But certainly Zhu Jin playing a lot better in this fourth game. Remember, he lost the first 3 games, 11-4, 11-4, 11-4. He's now 9-8 down, and this gentleman on screen is 2 points away from a place in the final. He leads 9-8. It's a great backhand down the line. 2 match points for China's Ma Long. The ball has gone out of the court. Ma Long just retrieving the ball, while Zhu Jin, as we can see on the screen, just toweling down. He's fully entitled to do that. Another 6 points have progressed. And Ma Long doing the same, taking his time. 1 point away from a place in the final.
8-10.
Zhu Jin now with his 2 serves to come. And Zhu Jin overhits the forehand top spin. There he is. Ma Long, he wins in 4 straight games. What a wonderful performance by Ma Long. And we'll see him in action in the final against Germany's Timo Boll. I'm not sure what language they're speaking. He's apologising for the little bit of time wasting, but he salutes the crowd. And he'll be in the final later on, and we look forward to that.
That will take place at 2:30. The final will be at 3:30. We're just going to welcome back into the arena Batala for some more live action music here. During the break, ladies and gentlemen, you can head over to the common try area. At 1 p.m. there will be the 1-point knockout and beat the robot competitions, and I'm told there are amazing prizes to be won. Over there also you can buy some table tennis equipment from the equipment suppliers, Tonic, Double Happiness, Pre-Bar, T-Sport and Mountain Sports. There's also EDTA merchandise as well from the Table Tennis Association. Lots to look forward to this afternoon, folks. Head over to that common try area, you'll have some fun. Have a game of table tennis as well. In the meantime, give it up.
And so, with his back to the screen, Timo Boll in action against Vladimir Samsonov. And it's Boll that we'll see in the men's singles final. He's delighted. And there, Ma Long in action. And what a performance by China's Ma Long, winning in 4 straight games. And we look forward to seeing him in action in the final. And can he keep the momentum going? We'll find out very soon.